people are like, why do you keep going? So I think it's a bit of like a sickness, a rush, or something. And so there is, I think, some entrepreneurs in those like sick parts, the sick, tough parts, we thrive there too. Yeah. But there's nothing that makes me feel more alive than like when my back is against the wall. Like the biggest thing that'll stop you from being great is being pretty good. When it is tough, like right now, like on how we're going to navigate it, I will come up with some of the craziest solutions that I would have never imagined that like can 10x my life or my business and things like that. That if things were just okay, if I wasn't worried about cash flow, I wouldn't have like figured out another way to do it.
Like when the crash happened and you got kicked in the teeth, many people got kicked in the teeth. What are you going to do this time different?
Trying to focus on a product that we think is a little bit more invincible, trying to, not taking on investor equity unless we need to, which there's pros and cons to that, right? Super stressed out right now, but less people to answer to, right?
Like, more upside.
Yeah, more upside. And there's always the opportunity to bring that part in. And then what really worked after the crash last time was like my first year or two of the foreclosure business, which was buy at a good price, sell it at a below market price, cut prices every week until you sell it because there are buyers out there. Like don't ever hang on to a deal and be like, oh, like I need it to sell for $1 million because my debt's $800,000. I'm going to wait. Like you just drop the price every week until you sell it.
Yeah.
Because there are buyers out there. Like if a house is a dog, you find out when it's on the market. And if it's a dog's a dog, you get rid of it.
Get rid of it fast.
So it's all about trying to move really, really fast. And then, and when we were like big home builders, we couldn't do that. Right.
But you already said like this is a 2-year window. So you have a plan, like build it for 2 years, then do you sell it or what do you?
Yeah. So we're trying to sell everything as we go. Okay. And then the construction company ideally can pivot into like the multifamily company because we think there's a lot of stats that say the multifamily demand is going to be huge. Yeah. Multifamily demand is like a 4 to 5 year delay. So the reason we have too much multifamily in Austin 2 years ago is because like that boom started in like 18, 19. That's how long it takes to build, the big ones. And so now they're saying once these other one comes on, it'll take like a year or two for them to fill and then we'll have a shortage again. But there's like, the reason I think it's a 2-year model is so there's like 3 secrets that we figured out. One was the modular home building. The houses are super, super nice, but they're at a discount. So like that was secret number 1. 2, last year in April was when the city of Austin said you can now put 3 houses on a lot built by right. You don't have to get it approved. You can get a permit in 3 weeks. If you own a lot that's over 6,000 square feet residential, you can put 3 houses on a lot. We're the first people to do it. And there's only 12 other permits in the city of Austin. There are 3 houses per lot other than our 72. Wow. And those people are going to build the houses normally. Yeah. So we'll have gone, and so when I go to buy land from a seller, like there's somebody selling a lot downtown Austin. Everybody that's been looking at it in the past has been like, oh, can I buy a house, build a custom, sell it for $2.5 million? Well, the $2.5 million market just sucks right now.
It's awful.
So but we can go to them and go, oh, if we're putting 3 houses on this and we're going to sell them each for $700,000, and our margin is bigger than the other builders, now we can give the guy what he wanted for it. So I think we're like the only person buying lots right now. We're the only people buying land because it doesn't pencil for anybody else because the market changed, right? So people want a certain amount for it. So within 2 years, I think a lot of people will be doing 3 to a lot. So like that's our story. So that's like that's the other secret. I mean, I said 3 secrets. That's really the 2 big ones. One is the modular home building is fast delivery, and then the 3 to a lot before anybody else does it. So by the time anybody else finishes one of their projects, we should have 120 permits, 120 foundations, a bunch of projects done. But I do think within a couple of years, the reason it goes away is then land prices just go up. Right. Because sellers all figure out like, oh, I can get 3 houses on this lot. I don't need to sell for 500 now. I can sell for 700,000, and then that gets rid of the margin.
So then you'll just pivot to
pivot to the multifamily.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've always respected about you is your like ability to pivot. A lot of people get so fixated and stuck on like, I'm going to be a home builder, I'm going to be a developer forever. And then they get their shit kicked in like really bad. You already have your pivots planned, even though you're in like growth phase of choice 1. Yeah. Most people don't do that.
Yeah, the pivot and exit strategies planned on this one. I just pivoted. I had way too many chances where I didn't pivot fast enough. Like I had the once in a lifetime opportunity in 2009 when I was the first guy doing foreclosures, and then I could look back and go like, man, I wish I would have gone bigger. Or when Blackstone came in and told me what they were going to do, told me I could go to work for them, I'm like, no, you're not going to put me out of business. I don't know who you are. Right? Like that was a big regret, and not understanding their business plan more back then. 2015, when I came to Texas, I had the big regret of like that I didn't buy enough. Yeah. But like in 2017, part of like why we bought the Roddy's foreclosure company Because I remember in 2012 when I went out of business in California, like when I started auctions in California, I was the only person at auction. 3 years later, there was hundreds of people bidding, and I remember thinking the only guy making money is the guy selling the list.
Yeah.
So as soon as I could in Texas, like in foreclosure, I was like, someday there'll be people outbidding me at auction, but if I own the list, then I have that. So that was like the first time of like learning what I learned from like 2005 to like 2015, which was a lot of like success and regret, and seeing other people do it better, like learning from Blackstone, learning from the other guys. The Roddy's purchase was the first time of like seeing the pivot going, eventually I won't be able to buy a house at auction anymore because there'll be too many people. So if I own the list, then it's like the hedge. And then like that was probably like big hedge. And then 2021 was that time when the market was slow, when nobody was buying anything. Like January 2021, we just had like the hottest 6 months ever.
Yeah.
And then January hits and we're like, is the market about to crash? Like, what's going to happen? Like we have, it was new administration. So like January, nobody's buying. Mm-hmm. Everybody's scared, even though rates were low. And that's when we did the Blackstone model. And I remember emailing or maybe I texted my broker and I said, like, I've got 90 days to buy 45 million in real estate. Like he said, make an offer on everything on the market in Bell County, like make a full price offer on everything. And that was what Blackstone taught me in 2012.
And it worked for you.
It worked really well. By October 2021, all those things were worth 40% more. It was a stupid run up in 2021, and nobody else was buying in January because they were afraid.
You've done it all. You've built the business. You've made the money. You conquered the grind. You're the lone wolf. And yeah, that got you here. But let's be real, it won't take you to the next level. The truth, most successful people don't hunt alone. They join a tribe, a network of elite entrepreneurs, investors, or leaders who challenge them, push them, and hold them accountable to their biggest goals. Gobundance is that tribe. Extreme accountability, real wealth building, life-changing adventure, and a brotherhood who refuses to let each other play small. So here's the challenge. Stay the lone wolf or run with the pack. The right tribe changes everything. Find a link in the description. Apply today. This episode is brought to you by Loletta Birnbaum, LLC, doing business justice. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, real estate investor, or a combination of each, you know how critical it is to have trusted legal advisors on your team. Loletta Birnbaum has built a stellar reputation providing exceptional legal services that make a difference. As a national business law firm, Loletta Birnbaum provides a wide variety of legal services, including general corporate, contract negotiations, mergers and acquisitions, succession planning, intellectual property, commercial litigation, shareholder disputes, real estate, and employment. Whether you're navigating a complex business deal, resolving disputes, or protecting your brand, their team delivers practical, results-driven legal solutions tailored to your goals. For inquiries, Gobundance members should email Loletta Birnbaum at gobundance@loletta.com. That's LAULETTA.com. You can also visit their website at www.lauletta.com to learn more about how they can do your business justice. This episode is brought to you by Apex Functional Health, the team behind age-defying health at Gobundance. If you're a high-achieving entrepreneur, investor, or leader, you know that your health is your greatest asset. But the truth is, traditional medicine isn't built for people like you. It treats symptoms, ignores root causes, and keeps you stuck in cycles of fatigue, stress, and subpar performance. That's where Apex comes in. They do not do Band-Aids. They engineer elite health transformations for men, women, and children looking to optimize their health and be proactive instead of reactive. Apex uses root cause functional medicine, advanced lab testing, and cutting-edge biohacking tools to help you optimize energy, eliminate the root cause holding you back, and reverse early signs of aging so you can live, feel, and perform at your best. Apex helps you take control of your health so you can lead with power, not burnout. Visit apexfunctionalhealth.com to schedule your free strategy call and see what's possible when your body finally works for you, not against you. What's slowing your business down? Is it endless emails, scheduling headaches, repetitive tasks that steal your time? My Outdesk has your solution. Their experienced global virtual assistants handle the busy work so you can focus on strategy, growth, and whatever matters to you most. From administrative support to marketing and customer service, they've got you covered at a fraction of the cost of hiring in-house. Scale smarter, save bigger, get the support you need today at My Outdesk. Do you think we're in like the recession right now? Do you think we're coming out of the recession? Do you think it's going to get worse? I mean, I read an article yesterday that Austin housing is down 50%. Now, of course, they took like the most dramatic example of the condo by Austin Country Club that was listed for 2.4 and now is down to 1.2 and it's still not selling. Like they took the most dramatic example to justify their story. But I feel like, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts, Austin's down 25%.
Yeah.
Like pretty easily on the high side, on the higher end stuff. Lower end, maybe not so much.
No, it depends on when you market, right? So the peak in Austin was like April, May 2022.
Yep.
Where median sales price here was like 600 or 650. And now it's at like 400, 450. So we are down from like the peak median sales price in Austin. If you're just looking at like sales price of single family and condo combined, peak median price to today, we are down 40%, which is crazy. Right. So depending on the date and the price point, so some markets, the lower end of the market maybe is only down 10 or 20. The high end of the market definitely down. If you would have taken it from like January 2021 or December 2021, then we're only down 20%. So if you like absolutely timed it wrong, we're down like 40. But the way real estate works over time, right? The unique thing with Austin is like, so real estate over time like should just go like this, which like year on the bottom sales price, like Texas has been very gradual to like this. And then in 2021, we had this huge sales price spike. So instead of going up 5, 6, 7% per year, we had gains of like 30%. And then it corrected down. And now it just has to get back to that original line. So we were like looking at a graph.
Yeah.
I could tell you like where we're going to be in 5 years because it's going to go back to that original line. And then that line stretches out.
So what you're saying is you just take a trend line with enough time and you know that generally speaking, we're going to get back to that trend line.
Yep.
Yeah. That's
because it's the way Texas has performed for years. Even California performs like that, other than their off years. So I think we've really, really corrected. I think that when people are like, "Hey, is it the right time to buy?" Like, have we hit bottom? Like we're within 5% of bottom, so buy.
Buy.
Right. If you're a long-term holder, if you can afford it, like, is there a chance that we go down another 5%? Yep. Like, are you going to be able to time the exact? That's like saying like April 2022 was the peak. So whoever sold then was great. Like, could we have timed it in hindsight? No, but if you'd have sold anywhere between February and June of 2022, you'd have been happy.
Yeah.
So that's like where we're at now. Like whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we'll be back at that peak number. So we'll eventually hit the peak number again. That's what I learned back in the crisis in California. So we'll eventually hit the peak again. So if you buy today or you buy 5% less or 5% more, like you're still going to get a 40% gain. Or it's more than a 40% gain. If we have a 40% loss, getting it back is like a 60% gain.
Yeah, what's interesting is like if you look at the economy as a clock, so many people try to sell at 12 and buy at 6, but like it's delusional to think that.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is buy between 5 and 7, and whether you missed 5% of the ups or you're still going to capture 5% more of the downs, it doesn't matter because you're relatively close enough.
Totally. Yeah. Especially with enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Buy between 5 and 7 and sell between 11 and 1.
That's it.
Right? Like you don't need to time the perfect part at all.
No, and like use common sense. Like, so for us, we had bought our first house ever in Austin. And I was a small town Wisconsin kid. I thought my first house would be $95,000. And so I remember David came to me and he's like, "Hey, you're going to buy this house." I'm like, "Well, where is it?" Like, wow, what do you mean I'm going to buy this house? Yeah. It's like, it's 1,200 square feet and it's $275,000. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, for what?
Yeah.
Tiny little lot. But we bought it because, again, right mentors, right perspective. And we bought it. When we sold it in May, we actually closed a little bit before May, but we listed it in early 2021. We listed it at 472, and we literally had 50 people come through the open house, like a line around the block. Mm-hmm. And I remember, so many people, David included, like, don't sell that house, don't sell that house. I'm like, guys, logically, this does not make sense. This is a 1,200 square foot house that we bought 3 years ago for $270,000 that now we're going to list for $470 with the assumption we'll get more. We had like 5 offers on the first weekend and a lady paid $110,000 over asking price for it.
Yeah.
And waived the appraisal. Now she's got that house listed on the market. It's been on the market for 120 days at the same price she's bought it. She's never going to sell for that number.
Yeah.
Now, will it get back there eventually? Yes, of course it'll get back there eventually. But I think at some point you have to use common sense in real estate and go like, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. I'm just going to be grateful that I could have made maybe another 20 or 30 grand if I held it till that perfect time. But for what?
Yeah.
For what? What's the point?
Right. Like you sold it like 10 or 11 o'clock.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Like It's so hard to call whether we're at the bottom or where we're at the top, but you can look at enough stats to go like it feels like we're close. So I'm very confident we're between 5 and 7.
I think so too.
In Austin right now.
Do you think rates get lower? Do you think they go up? I mean, Trump administration just walks into office. I saw him throwing pens out after he signed executive orders like he was a guitarist at a rock band.
Yeah.
But do you think he lowers? Do you think they lower rates? What do you think happens?
Man, I think that I think overall the economy is going to have some really good booms right now, right? I think people are really excited about, for the last 6 months, a lot of people didn't act on anything in business because they were worried about stuff. And then he talked about like my long answer, right? So he talked about eliminating taxes on overtime, right? So like workers will get more take home money.
Yep.
And the people that get more take home money are the people that are going to spend it.
Correct.
Right. None of that goes into savings. That goes into more dinners out, more fun stuff,
more boats.
More boats.
Yeah.
Right. And he's going to start taxing exports. Right. So like a lot of what he's doing is like what COVID injections did. And so what COVID injections did was they made the inflation happen. Right. More free money out there. So he's going to do more free money out there. People are going to make more money. Economy's going to get better. Inflation comes back. We can't lower rates. So I don't think I will be, I would bet that a year from now, mortgage rates will be what they are today.
They're just going to stay pretty flat.
Yeah. If you look at some old charts too, like from I'm going to say like mid 2000s, rates would stay the same for like 7-8 years in a row. And then even after like the housing boom of 2005, crash of 2009, by the time like 2012 hit, rates then stayed the same for like 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And those were 6 and 7% rates. So it's not abnormal to say like rates should stay the same for 7 years. So what I'm telling all the real estate people, like it's part of our masterminds, part of everything, is like this is the new normal.
Yeah.
Like today's business is what it's going to be like a couple years from now. Like rates aren't going to rescue us. Other incentives aren't going to rescue us. Now, people being confident in the economy again could get them off the fence to like get some more buyers out there. But yeah, I don't think rates are going to change much. I think there could be other incentives that help housing and help commercial developers. One of the best incentives they did back in like 2009 was like first time home buyer tax credits. Like that's a great thing that they could do right now. Where it's like, hey, you buy a house for the first time, you save $20,000 in taxes.
Yeah.
Right, that incentivizes home ownership, that incentivizes people to do that. It's not a big expense. It artificially inflates prices by bringing the price up $20,000 and by bringing in more buyers.
Right.
But only like 20% of buyers are first-time home buyers, but it'd be enough to really help.
Do you think we'll see like a 40-year mortgage or 50-year mortgage ever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't already.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really close.
Yeah. I think it's really close. I remember them introducing it. I mean, they talked about it in 2005 because prices had gone so crazy past affordability, especially in like Southern California, where people were making $60,000, $70,000 a year, but they're living in $800,000 houses. You're like, how does this happen?
Yeah, it's not going to work.
So, yeah, I could see mortgages. I could see interest only that like doesn't have a balloon.
Yeah.
Or interest only with like a 10 or 15-year balloon, but like you're not paying down anything on it.
Because most people probably, I don't know the stat off the top of my head, but I would bet most mortgages are not held for more than 5 years by the homeowner. Yeah. I don't know the specific number, but I bet if we looked at the stats, it's on average people sell or refinance within 5 years.
Oh yeah. I bet a bulk majority are like that. And when you think about it, a 50-year mortgage is like, you're probably paying $20 a month more than interest only.
I mean, it's just, they can really play some games without messing with the rates.
Yeah.
That will help. That will help the economy. That will help the real estate market.
Like, mind you, I would love it if rates were lower.
Yeah.
I just, the guys that are in charge of the Fed right now, they love the Fed from the 80s. Mm-hmm. That was why they loved Volcker. Mm-hmm. They talk about Volcker as a hero. He was the Fed in the 80s that like when inflation happened, he took the Fed rate to like 12 or 15%, something freaking crazy. Yeah. And so that's why they raised so fast this time. I think they raised too fast. Mm-hmm. But in one sense, like, they kind of did it right. Like there was no, like soft landing is kind of what's happened for 90% of people. The people that it hurts the most are like, it's unfair. It's like big commercial real estate developers or big developers like us. So like we got hurt the most from the change, but the average American didn't.
Well, and like the people that got kicked in the teeth and lost everything were the people that were over leveraged, didn't understand the debt that they had in place, what the floating rate could do. I mean, I remember talking to a guy who had a multifamily in Arkansas or Alabama. He's like, "Hey, we're getting kicked in the teeth." I'm like, "Okay, well, tell me about the story." He's like, "Well, we bought a rate cap." I'm like, "Okay, cool. What was your rate cap?" He's like, 8. I'm like, "Well, when you bought that rate cap at an 8, did the deal perform?" He's like, "We didn't run the number." I'm like, "Well, then
Yeah.
why did you buy the rate cap?" Like, you don't, he's like, "Yeah, the deal didn't pencil after rates got above 7.5. I'm like, "Well, I'm glad you have the rate cap, but it's not going to help you."
Yeah.
Because they floated right up to 8 and then were negative cash flow and put in a position where they had to fire sale the property and true up with the bank.
So many real estate deals are bets like that.
Yeah.
The difference between like a fraudster and a failure and a huge success is especially in real estate for people that make big bets, it's like 30 days one way or another.
Yeah, it's like a razor thin.
It's like so many guys. That's why I hate the judgment or the success praises that come with some of the big real estate bets. Because even the big bet that JJ and I did back in like 2020 when we sold $16 million of foreclosures for $20 million when we got them together as rentals, right?
Yeah.
We were like over leveraged, like we were negative cash flow every month because we were like hard money on those things.
Right.
And if the rate had changed because it worked out, the rates were fine.
Yeah.
And the guy bought it, we look brilliant.
Yeah, you look like geniuses.
We look like geniuses, big betters, most brilliant plan ever, like overnight success, that stuff. If the Fed would have lowered the rates like a month before our closing, bankrupt.
Yeah.
So it's like people are pretty quick to judge like, oh, that guy was out of his skis, like I should never done the thing, which is all true. But there's plenty of guys that are also out of their skis with a little bit of luck they succeeded. So it's like it's just such a fine line. Like there were a lot of the people that did get hurt or get busted. They didn't necessarily do a deal any different than others. The timing was just bad.
Well, and a lot of people, myself included, like to look at snapshots in time and define success by that snapshot in time. It's like, oh, that guy was an idiot. He should have sold everything before rates went up. Oh, that guy was a genius. He sold everything before rates did go up.
Yeah.
But you have to like look at the entire journey of a human to define their success or their failure. Because in moments, you look either brilliant or stupid, but like that trend line is also true of life, I think, too. Things revert back to that trend line.
Yeah. With Gobundance, we do our net worth line.
Yeah.
Right? And I've had the up and then the correction. And then I had a freaking catastrophic up. Yeah. And then last year I had a giant correction.
Yeah.
Right? And so but it's probably like that trend line over time is the same. Like if you keep working hard for the next 15 years, it's going to go this way.
Yeah.
And you're going to have some years that go above the curve, some years that go below the curve, and then hit the curve again.
Well, and then if you make some good bets, you can adjust the trajectory of the curve.
Change the slope, yeah.
So long as you commit to the bet you actually made and go all in.
Yeah.
But by going all in, you could also change the slope in a negative way. It could go the opposite way.
Yeah.
So how do your cash flow is struggling right now with this new venture, which you're used to that because when you were talking about the foreclosure stuff, you were cash flow negative. How do you kind of mentally work through that? Like most people would look at your situation and go like, you've got a great life, right? You've got an awesome opportunity to take advantage of this development. You've got houses in Austin. You've got your health. You've got these businesses. Like, wow, Aaron's living the life. And yet I'm sure there's moments where you feel that. And there's also moments where you're like stressed beyond measure and going like, how am I going to pay salaries next week? Like you talked about. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, it's not easy, right? We've been through a lot of ups and downs. You've seen a lot of the ups and downs. And so the good thing about like huge failures is it helps you like, in one sense, like not get as emotional about it, like be more of a machine, be more of a solution driven. Mm-hmm. Like, when I got myself in trouble so many years ago, like this old thing that I used to tell myself, like whenever it's like a really, really bad day happens, it's like sitting there in like meditation and going, a year from now, I won't even be thinking about this moment. Like a year from now, nobody will care. Like, and that can apply to anything. You do something super embarrassing in front of your friends, like you screw up in a class, you do whatever, like even like major things, like people getting DUIs and things like that. Like there's very few things that like a year from now, that can't be a distant memory,
right?
That doesn't impact your life.
Right.
So that's like one way to stay centered in the face of it is like, hey, a year from now, this is it. And I've had enough experience of like what happens when I bet on me and the plan stays forward. So some of it we try to look at in a very practical manner. Like rather than look at everything else, like how do we do it? Like, okay, so let's go into solution.
Yeah.
Like how bad is it if it is bad or not? Mm-hmm. And that's one way to look at it. And then it's remembering to pay off on the bet, because a lot of these times on the bets, we can deleverage ourselves. We can say, so is it worth giving away X amount of upside to bring in a helper over here?
Yeah.
But it's like, you remember when Cameron Harold spoke with us in Vancouver, and he was like, stand up if like, you know, you don't sleep very well. And like, on like the fifth thing, we're all standing up, and we're thinking that he's describing the entrepreneur. And at the end, he's like, if you said yes to 4 or more things, like you are legally like bipolar.
Yeah, some crazy like that.
It was some crazy thing of like you would legally be, you know, medicated as that. So I think part of it too is just the craziness of an entrepreneur. Like there are some times that I wish, like we did the big sale in 2020. I'm like, man, I should just walk away. I should be done. I should be done building. I should just sit back and just retire. I've done it. And then the other side of me is like, man, maybe. Right? It's weird. Like people are like, why do you keep going? So I think it's a bit of like a sickness, a rush, or something. And so there is, I think, some entrepreneurs in those like sick parts, the sick, tough parts, we thrive there too. Yeah. Like there is nothing, it is so sad too, but there's nothing that makes me feel more alive than like when my back is against the wall. Like the biggest thing that'll stop you from being great is being pretty good. Like I'd say a year from now, or a year ago, finances were fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't bringing in a whole lot. I had plenty in savings. Didn't have it was like, you know, it was just kind of fine.
Yeah.
If I was really hungry, I would have been like, but I wasn't like generating much new money. If I was like really hungry, I would have been like, you know, if I was broke, I'd be like flying to Vegas like I did to try to find foreclosures there. Like when I was broke in 2015, I started flying to Texas every month. Like I was trying every single thing possible to make more money and then found it. So like last year, maybe 18 months ago, 24 months ago, if I was hungry, I would have been like finding something to work and I could have found something.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. It was like, I was just doing okay.
You're pretty good.
I was doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So that prevented me from going like, what's my next big thing? What's my next big problem? So then when it is tough, like right now, like on how we're going to navigate it, I will come up with some of the craziest solutions that I would have never imagined that like can 10x my life or my business and things like that. That if things were just okay, if I wasn't worried about cash flow, I wouldn't have like figured out another way to do it. There's like one good example. Our first time we set a house in this new venture, dude, I was an amateur, my very first one. We schedule it. I've got a $50,000 crane out there. We've got police escorts. We've got a house on site. And we go to set this house. And the first guy goes up there and goes, this concrete is still green. It hasn't been set yet.
Hasn't cured?
He hasn't cured. So I'm like, all eyes are on me. Yeah. I'm the only decision maker. Do we set this house or not? Yeah. Like you're signing everybody's waiver.
Yeah.
Engineer says, don't set that house. Other guys are like, set that house. Crane's like, if I come back day after tomorrow, it's an extra $50,000. So I'm like figuring out this thing real time. And so long story short was and like lenders are showing up. We're trying to make a tour. Like it's all these things. So I had to weigh the pros and cons of if I set this house and it breaks. If I set this house and it's a success, then all these people are happy and I save $50,000. If I set the house and it breaks, business is over. Yep. If I wait a few days, then there are some things that don't go right, like the lender show and all this. Like then I kind of look like an idiot in front of my workers, in front of some people. My long story short is I didn't set the house. Right, sent everybody home, lost $50,000 that day. 3 days later, when it came time to setting, the engineer was still like, I still don't think you should set it, but I had enough information at that time that I'm like, I'm good. I'm setting this house.
Yeah.
So I screwed up and I wasted $50,000. So my original plan was I was going to have this other company. I was going to watch them set the first 10 houses. So we had in the budget that the next 10 houses, we were going to pay this other company like $30,000 a house to set it. Well, because I screwed up the first one, I had to fast track that.
Yeah, you couldn't spend
I couldn't spend the money anymore. Mm-hmm. So I had the other company help me one more time. And I had my employees watch the process and we studied it and we wrote everything down. And the third house we set ourselves. Wow. So that fast tracked growth, like that main failure fast tracked the growth. So now we're setting all of our own stuff. And instead of spending hundreds of thousands of dollars learning and then doing it ourselves, now we're pros at it. But that failure had to force me to do it.
But also what you probably passed over is the amount of time you had to make that decision of set the house or don't set the house. It wasn't like you had days and you could go back and calculate data. It was like, Aaron, what are we going to do? And you had to decide.
Yeah. I had like 30 minutes of people everywhere staring at me. And it wasn't a couple people. It was like 100 people, news people, like social media people, lenders, everything, cops. Like it was crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like, and everybody's like, it's up to you.
Yeah.
And like the people that are like, if they delay, the people that were mad at me if I don't set it, the people that were mad at me if I do set it, it was like a no-win deal.
But you kind of like being in that spot. Like you thrive in that.
And when I talk about it right now,
like I can see you like,
dude, like I was sick.
Yeah.
Right. Like ready to throw up. Like never felt more alive.
So how do you escape that? Or do you think you just embrace that your whole life?
No, burnout happens. Like burnout is real. Like burnout is real that there are, so we can, dude, high performers, we can perform like that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's weeks and sometimes it's months and sometimes it's days. But then there are moments where you just go like, oh my gosh. Like I got a lot of stuff on my plate right now.
Yeah.
Business stuff, family stuff, all sorts of stuff. And there are a couple of times like getting to the car and being like, whew. Right.
Yeah,
and so
I just want to drive to Mexico.
Yeah, dude, I've had some moments the last 6 months of going like, you know what? I said I've been pushed to my limits before, but like I feel this. So when burnout happens, it's like telling friends, talking to friends, getting solutions, like through our masterminds, like through Gobundance, things like that. You know, there's a lot of guys that can help and understand. And then the other part is that release of going back to it is so simple. People always talk about it. It's like, you know, working out in the morning, sitting in the sauna, going and hitting some golf balls. Mm-hmm. I can tell you what, the happiest I was probably 2 years ago when we were golfing like 3 or 4 days a week.
That was the best.
Right? Like, but the problem was our businesses were just okay.
It was
at the time.
Pretty good.
It was pretty good. So we were golfing 3 days a week. We all became great golfers.
Yeah.
You, me, and David became great golfers that year.
It was pretty good.
Right? Life was pretty good. We weren't doing anything special, but our golf game got awesome.
Yeah.
I need a little bit more golf in my life right now because like those are the things that are the refresh. But when I spoke to the Emerge group, like I'm just say like a month ago, one of the people said like, what's the best advice that you could give to like 20-year-old you? Like all the money you've made, all the investments, I have this much money here, I'm doing this. Like, what's the best advice you can give me? And it was just like, focus on your health and work out every day. And they're like, that sucks. I'm like, I know. Right. But like, that is the one thing that I would have done different. If I could trade it all back, it's like that I would have like put more faith in that. Cause once I started focusing on my health and exercise and having that start first, like my brain worked, everything else I did was better and easier. And I was like mid-30s before I did that.
Well, and you have this like very interesting thing to compare to, right? So you have these struggles in business, which feel heavy and they feel chaotic, but nothing like what you went through with Maddie.
Yeah.
And I mean, when I was watching how you showed up as a husband, as a father, as a business leader, as the patriarch for your family and what you're doing, I just had so much admiration and respect for who you were, because it would have been so easy to fold it, throw it all in and be like, all right, I don't know what else to do. I mean, there was moments where you couldn't get your daughter out of bed.
Yeah.
And so now when you look at business and you compare it to that like litmus test, if you will, it doesn't even compare, right?
It's funny, like the kids and family, there is no up as big and no down as big. Sorry, my family's blowing me up right now. So this is so horrible to make sure I have no emergencies. But
no, you're good.
They're
got a lot going on, man.
They're gonna just deal with it.
Yeah.
We say like kids, family. It's like make everything more fun, make everything harder. Mm-hmm. Like going on vacation with kids, so much more fun, so much more challenging.
Yeah.
Go fly on a plane with a kid, like the first everything. Like go to Hawaii, all the things. But there's plenty of people out there that have lost loved ones, lost kids, all the things. There's no pain quite like that. There's no struggle quite like that. Like you or I get sick. You or I struggle. You or I, like our businesses are struggling. We can learn from it. We can soak it in. We can have good, happy attitudes and be like, I just got to solve it.
Right.
Like you broke your
my Achilles.
Your Achilles twice.
Yeah.
Right. Like little things like that. And the attitude was like, all right, I got to fix this thing. Yeah. I got to go back. But when you see a kid struggling, when I saw Maddie, she was 14 and so she had CRPS, really, really rare disease. We were so lucky that we got it diagnosed, but like overnight she went from like within a 6-month period, she went from a great kid, great young, normal kid to like in a wheelchair, couldn't walk, couldn't eat. If I accidentally brushed up against her, she would scream because she felt like she got stabbed with a knife. So confusing. And then there's like the parent guilt of like, I should have handled this sooner. I should have figured this out sooner. The helplessness with family and kids is like, there's nothing like it. The loved one gets sick. The helplessness is there's nothing like it. And so that was definitely the hardest, right? When I think about like struggles today and stresses today, like again, another reason, like you're like, how do we handle all the business up and downs? Because this stuff is pretty easy compared to like how bad it could be.
Yeah.
And if we keep our eye on that prize, like, like how Elrod really say, like, at least I'm not dying right now, or at least I'm not this. Like, no matter what, there's a worse.
Right.
There's a worse. And and I'd much rather me feel the pain than like my kids feel the pain.
Well, now Maddie's living a normal entrepreneurial life, right? Like running her own business out of your office and thriving.
Yeah. Maddie's life now is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's really, really special to see what that kid did. She had 2 years of misery, which was unfair. And for a while, like we were trying to do whatever we could. We did at the time, we had unlimited resources. So when we found the place that said they'd cured 300 people, we're like, all right, we're going to try this. And she moves to Arkansas, and we get the house next to the place and split up the family while we're doing it, shut down some companies while we're doing it so we could focus on her, like, do whatever it takes to try to help. The tough part, though, during like probably her first year of that is like she didn't see it as that. She was like, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one going through this, and I've got doctors telling me what to do, and I have you telling me what to do, and I have them telling me what to do.
Just want to be a kid.
She's like, I just want to be a kid.
Yeah.
I just want to, and as adults, we could say like, no, when times are tough, you do the solution, you push through, you get to the other side. Mm-hmm. And she was like, not. Mm-hmm. Right? She was like, no, I'm just a kid. And when she finally found like healing, we had like come back from Arkansas after she was finally, originally we're like, we're not coming back from Arkansas unless you're in remission. And ended up like one of the times I went up there with her, just saw like it wasn't going to happen there. She had like given up. We got back home. We found another doctor here to like keep going next time. And we had this big old fight with her. And she like wouldn't get out of bed, wouldn't go do it, not going to do it no matter what you do. Right? I remember this moment that said like, all right, I need you to go back to the doctor. I need you to go to this one more doctor, like one more time today. And then I'm never going to ask you to do anything again, because it really felt like because we became like, she felt like we were torturing her too.
Right.
So the moment when I said like, okay, cool, we're done. When you're ready, I'm here and I'll do whatever. I'll fly wherever, I'll go whatever, I'll pay wherever, I'll hire whatever, but I'm not going to make you show up anymore. Like, but as soon as you're ready, as soon as you want it, I'm in. And about a week and a half later, she goes, I'd like to go see that one doctor again and try. And when it went from like everyone in the world telling her what to do to her making the decision of what to do, within 5-6 months she was cured. And and she's taken it to a whole different level. So now people are like, she's 17, you're letting her fly all over the world, and she's building business on TikTok, and she's doing this, and like, I said, she can do whatever she wants. Yeah. Like, I thought she was gonna die. Yeah. Like, I thought that girl was gonna kill herself. Like, she had 2 worst years of her life. I never thought she was gonna have a life. Now she has one. She can do whatever she wants. Right. Great kid. And and music was one of the things that like got her through what she had. That became what her TikTok's about, what her business is about. Getting to go to concerts with her, things like that. Yeah. She'll be way more famous than I'll ever be.
Do you guys ever talk about it? Like, you and her ever talk about those 2 years? Or is it kind of like unspoken?
We do sometimes. We should probably talk about it more often, especially like in times of struggle too, because she's like a normal kid. So we have ups and downs, right? Right. So it'd probably be a good time to like try to bring up like, hey, remember how like, definitely is as bad as it could be. Remember when we thought you were never gonna walk again? Yeah. I think it's pretty darn good.
I just remember hearing like when she got into remission, she was getting back on her feet, like really starting to get back into life. You bought her the car, and like she was like starting to be a kid again. I remember seeing her at your office, and there was just like a glow to both of you being in the same room. Like, we went through a battle together as a family that nobody else knows about. Nobody else can understand. Now, the family's going through that. They understand it, obviously, but anybody in this room doesn't get. And like, I could just feel like the energy in that room. I would just be interested to hear her perspective on the journey. Cause I mean, she's got to have just an incredible story of like the mental fortitude that was required to get through that, and the pain and the challenge and the suffer. Like, yeah, it wasn't easy.
She's been on a couple podcasts now, which is like so pretty special and pretty awesome. She's been on a couple like national commercials, not really commercials, but like on CRPS Awareness Month, they had like a bunch of other states interviewed her. Oh, wow. And then I got to interview her during my Rockstars conference last year. I surprised her. I told her to stop by and see me. Yeah. And when she walked by, I pulled her up on stage, and so she was shocked in that moment. But yeah, it'd be cool to get her perspective and have other people tell the story. It's funny. Like, I remember you came by the office, and I'm like, that's Maddie's office. Yeah. And she's so proud of her office. You're like, that's a closet.
It is a closet.
Like, and she is so proud of her closet that she runs her business out of and does all of her things. And
she's killing it.
Yeah, she's killing it. But it's like when you almost lose it all, it's part of like like I went to prison for a couple years when I was younger. Never thought it could be any better. Like, and I talk about it a lot because that's like one of those things that I go back to too. Like, hey, it's not that bad. Hey, that was my other chance. Like, that's part of why I'm so successful today. And I can't wait until she's grateful for what she went through. Well, like right now she's overcome it. Eventually it'll become the reason she's special.
Right. Right. Which it already is. She just hasn't recognized that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a while before you like appreciate the failure or
Right.
you appreciate the damage or appreciate the torture or whatever.
Yeah. It's all on the other side of the pain is the life you desire. You just have to be willing to live through it.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
Super
but I mean, even like when you went to jail, like most people will say, oh my God, Aaron robbed a bank, which is what the headline might say. That's not the true story. Obviously, you have to share the story. But on the other side of all of that adversity you faced and all of the stories you faced and all the criticism you faced was actually the life you've always desired.
Yeah.
And like you have a lot of really cool stories that came out of that. Like you're still connected with some of the people you were in jail with.
Oh, yeah.
Like still friends.
Yeah. The Brax is named after my first cellmate. Brax.
Yeah.
Like he's a good buddy of mine. And like 3 or 4 months ago, me and 7 or 8 of the guys went out to Las Vegas. And there was a group of us that were like very tight that had like kept in touch. And this is like, 15, 20 years ago now, right? Mm-hmm. A couple of us had met up at random times. And then one of the guys that was one of our core group members died a little over a year ago. And when he passed away, like I had seen him a couple times. He lived out in Orlando and I happened to be out there, but the other guys hadn't. And we were like, whoa, can we believe it's been this long? And so we finally said like, it's been too long. Let's pick a date. Let's go.
That's cool.
And the week before, I think all of us were nervous. Half the guys were ready to cancel. And it was like, we had to like, a couple of guys were like, I'm not coming. And we had to all say like, it is now or never.
Yeah.
Like we are going, let's do this. Like who needs help? What do we got to do to make it happen? And because those are, and I think we all feel the same way. Like you can have these crazy experiences that build you into who you are and go like, I never want to do that again. Or you overcome, or that's when you change like my whole personality changed.
Yeah. And it was all because a guy owed you money.
Yeah.
I mean, a kid owed you money and chose the wrong way to get you paid.
Exactly.
And you were just driving the car.
Yeah. I mean, I was a crazy, silly kid, like growing up in a small town, like people like drinking and doing drugs and like not really having a grasp on like consequences. Mm-hmm. Like when we're young, we haven't really experienced real consequence. Mm-hmm. And so there isn't really like a conscious decision that's made of like like when I'm deciding whether or not I'm going to set that house or not, I knew the consequences of doing it wrong or doing it right. Yeah. I was able to like go through all the consequences. When you're 20, 19, you don't really know what consequences are.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was a very silly reason to have that happen. And definitely a thing that like the first few years out, I was pretty ashamed of. I was worried it was going to prevent me from being able to succeed. It was why I was so driven to succeed afterward. And then once I got a certain amount of success, I was able to share it. And now there are so many people that'll come up to me afterward and be like, I was at a dinner like maybe a month or two ago. And the guy said, why don't you drink? And I'd like start with the story and I pull out a picture of me in prison with those guys. I was like, this is one of the reasons. And he's like, but you're all successful now. And he pulls me outside to say like, hey, I haven't told many people this, but like, I do this. But 10 years ago, I went to prison too for a couple of years for something different. And he's like, I've never told anybody. Like we got introduced to mutual friends and the other guys at the dinner didn't know.
Right. But you had like a weight lifted off of his shoulder because you've given him permission to talk about it by talking about your story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times that comes out where we all realize like we've all got like deep, dark secrets. We've got things to be ashamed of, things that we think are going to hold us back. And, we get some time behind it when we realize like, that's actually like, I can be proud of it. Cause like I said, that's why I'm so successful.
Right.
So people start to judge. I'm like, well, that's why I'm who I am.
Do you remember how much the kid owed you?
Under $1,000 probably. It was $1,000 give or take, something like that.
But it wasn't like
it wasn't enough to ruin a life.
No. But you found the best in it. Like even in prison, you found opportunities to make money and run business and do things.
Yeah. It's funny, right? Like I was like because I was from such a small town, I probably didn't realize how much danger I was in when I was in there too. But like because I was from a small town, it was like being in the center of a movie too.
Right.
Like I remember when the guy first showed me, we're in the hole when we first get there, which is like the hole is like
it's like all black, like
yeah. And
how long are you there? 24 hours.
You're there 24 hours, so an hour a day you get to go outside. And so the first few weeks I'm in there because I get there during like a riot, and so I don't get to hit the regular yard yet. The regular yard's awesome. You play tennis, you work out, like it's great. You play poker all day, it's amazing. But the shoe's crappy. And this guy goes, and you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes in the shoes. So they don't sell tobacco in there, and then they don't sell like matches in there. But on the regular yard, they do. So this guy, but you're allowed to order like certain things on the shoe menu. So he orders a 9-volt battery for his radio because you're allowed to order that. He orders like the gum that has the foil wrapper, it's like Wrigley's or one of those, right? And then somebody sneaks him some tobacco, right? So then we're in the room, and he's looking out through the cell because the cell door is closed, and he uses like a sheet to plunge all the water out of the toilet, and he like rolls up his cigarette. It's ready, but I'm like, well, how are you gonna light it? And he takes the foil from the gum, and he rolls up a little piece of toilet paper, and he takes the foil from the gum, and he grabs the 9-volt battery, and he connects it, right? And it causes a spark and lights that little piece of toilet paper on fire, and he lights it that way. And I'm like, so even guys in the shoe have figured out, like, it's totally legal to buy that foil gum in there and totally legal to have the batteries, and realizing, like, you can light cigarettes from freaking batteries. And so you see. So for me, it was like a movie, too.
Yeah.
Right? The whole thing was like, this is wild. Like, this is straight. Like, I'm meeting mafia people. I'm meeting, like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the scary moments I was able to, like, not really see as that.
Because you were able to, like, get with the right people.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with, like, the people that would protect you and look out for you.
So much luck with that. Like, so I was in college when it happened. So they give everybody a job, or you get paid like $1 a week to do your job, and you go do it like 30 hours a week, right? Mine was to be the GED teacher. So I was essentially a teacher. Mm-hmm. So we'd come in and I would teach class, and this is how to do math, and this is how to do English, and this was essentially teaching high school GED to these guys. And what you learn is like a lot of guys that get in trouble, especially like people that weren't brought up in very good situations, they never got to go to high school. Like a big part of why they did the things they did, got caught up on what they did, is because they didn't have any opportunities where they lived. But they wanted to get their GED because they wanted to go to college, because they wanted to do big things, because they're entrepreneurs too. Right. Like most drug dealers, bank robbers, they were entrepreneurs too. Like it's crazy, but they made really bad decisions that most of us would frown on. Yeah. But they wanted to be something, and so so I was the GED teacher. I would teach them. They would come to me for extra study things and stuff like that. So but these guys were also like straight killers. Mm-hmm. So they ran big gangs. And so whenever something would break off and something would go wrong, they would say, "No, Aaron's untouchable. You can't touch him." When the race riots would go off and a bunch of Hispanic people were beating up all the white people, those guys would stand out in front of my cell and they'd tell people to move along. Wow. You don't touch Aaron. Wow. And that was like a very, very random, right? So obviously God's hand has been all over my life. And so you have enough ups and downs like that too. So like when life is tough like today, you just got to remember, or when it was tough, like when it was pretty hard to find hope when Maddie was going through her thing. Yeah. But then we get through the outside, but it reminded you, whenever bad things happen, you got to remember, like, hey, there's usually a plan for this. And sometimes our biggest bottoms become like the ways we push through.
I mean, all the time, right? Like I told my wife literally the other day, I'm like, without the valleys, you don't know what a peak is. Yeah. Like, you literally have to have the bottom to know what the top is, or what the top could be. Yeah. But what's the craziest prison story besides the battery with that
was probably the most.
That's pretty cool.
That's a fun one, dude. I think I'll probably make a TikTok doing that soon to show people
how to try to do it.
Yeah, I'll have to do a TikTok to show people how to light a cigarette with what you can get in the shoe commissary.
That would go viral.
That would be my next thing. I'll do that this week.
That would be a good one.
Figure out how to do that.
If you can actually get it to light.
Yeah. If I get it to work right, like that'll probably take a couple tries to get that to work right. The craziest story was probably a race riot that happened over like these two white guys like had a drug debt and they couldn't pay it. And if you get in a fight in the prison, what they do is they ship you to another prison yard. Oh, wow. So these guys were like, hey, this is how we're going to get out of it. So they had like packed up their clothes and their stuff, like knowing that they were about to get shipped somewhere else. They put everything in their locker and they go out on 2-1, pick a fight against another guy, essentially. So they would get thrown in the shoes. So they would get shipped to another prison.
So they wouldn't pay their debt.
So they wouldn't have to pay their debt. Well, when you have and prison is very race driven. Mm-hmm. So when you have two white people team up and beat up one Mexican, right? 2-on-1 is that's like a sinister rule. Mm-hmm. So the next day at like 10 a.m., it's out in the yard. People are playing baseball. People are running track. People are doing all sorts of things. You don't really know anything's about to happen. But all of a sudden, all the Hispanic people start beating up all the white people. Wow. Baseball bats, knives, people are getting arms broken, legs broken, crazy, right? And it was over two people that we weren't even friends with.
Right.
but it's like the way that like some of those crazy messages go. And I remember having to call my parents like before the phone. I'm like, we're about to get put in lockdown. Don't worry. I'm like 20-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I'm going to be fine. You're just not going to be able to hear from me for the next few weeks. So like, don't come down to visit. Like it's about to happen. And I'm like, but I'll see you later. Click. And they had to be like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like we can't. So they came down the next weekend and they just waited for days to wait till they could see me, make sure I was alive. But
because it was just a crazy.
Yeah.
How did
when you start seeing stuff like that, you start to go like, oh wow, this is
real.
This is real.
Yeah, they'll kill.
Like I don't want to get hit with a bat.
Yeah, no. Stabbed with a knife. No,
yeah.
I'm good.
And part of it was just the outnumbered portion.
Right.
Like there was 100 white people out of 2,000 there.
Right. And then how do they break up that fight? Just pepper spray and tasers?
They come out with like bean guns and like and the guards would love that.
Did you ever get shot with one?
No.
That would have to hurt so bad.
Yeah, I imagine that it's not fun.
It's not fun.
No, there are some people that want to be hardcore. I did not want to be hardcore. I wanted to run the heck out of there.
Yeah.
I got nice. Everyone gets in their share of fights no matter what. That's like a thing. But yeah, that was the most surreal thing of like, oh, I guess this isn't just Toyland.
Yeah, it's
not just tennis.
Yeah, these are not. Yeah, these are like you said, killers. Like they're not afraid.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So where do you see yourself going 5 years from now? Right, like you hit the bottom, both personally and with your family in different moments of your life. You found the tops in different moments of your life. You've got all of this crazy stuff you're building, you're growing, you're scaling. Do you stay addicted to the race and continue to build and scale? Do you see retirement on the horizon? Do you see selling and sailing off into the sunset? Like, what do you see for your life in 5 years?
Man, I ask so many people that, and I don't really probably have my 5-year vision right now, which is, it's surreal to think about because what my life's been like is like seasons, like entrepreneurial seasons, knowing like, okay, there's a big opportunity in 2009, but by 2012 it was done.
Mm-hmm.
Big opportunity in 2015. You know, it was like, I'm going to say it was like 2017, 2018. We pulled our kids out of school and like traveled the world for a couple of years. Like my company was on autopilot. I was getting paid. I could like send an email a week. So that was like a slow season, non-growth season where it's like, you know, go sail the world.
Well, what was crazy about that was you hadn't really traveled until you got into the Gobundance community.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you just went like literally around the world. Like you just went crazy.
Yeah. I met these guys that were like, this is what life could be like. And I felt like I wasn't alone for the first time. And I also felt like the benefit of like winning and losing it all is you go like, man, I should have done so much stuff different while I was winning.
Yeah.
And so in one theory, it could be like, so if I did it like every other time, in 3 or 4 years, I'll have a slow season where whatever business I created is gone. Mm-hmm. Like, because that just happens. So many of our companies have been cyclical like that. They last a few years and then they don't. So one of my businesses I created will be gone. And so then I'll have this slow season or hopefully have some money and then I can like enjoy and maybe, you know, golf a lot or like have some like more personal goals that aren't business related. And see how long that lasts. But then being in like an opportunist, it'll be very hard if I see the next big thing to not try to take another swing at it. I would love to say that like what I really should do is like do a big finale and then set up in a point where I don't have the up and down risk months anymore. Like go, hey, I've done this enough times. I've done like 5 or 6 of these cycles of putting everything on the line. Yeah. The upside's always bigger at the end, but like the putting it all on the line every time is crazy. There should be a version that's between that. So
do you think that's like you're capable of that?
That's probably the thing I have to work on. Because I think that like true happiness in the long run, like one of the best things about Gobundance, right? 1 sheet, 5 pillars. So if you're really doing it right, like it's your goals for the year that are health-wise, community-wise, like the, give back, all these different things where you try to be a well-rounded person. And it helps you to like at the end of the year, not just did you succeed in business, did you do all the other stuff? And when I'm really focused on those, I'm also like a lot happier, things like that. And it should help us create some fulfillment. But like everybody should retire eventually or retire into a point that maybe it's like buddies together that are like investing in other people but aren't running themselves ragged, so many hours a day. So I think what I should do is try to say like, I'm probably not capable or ready to stop, but I should. Right? I shouldn't, not now. I gotta make this.
Yeah, you got
I need this next big win to win.
Yeah.
But I should try to train myself and work on the idea of like, why can't I sit in the wind, or why can't I, if I see another opportunity instead of wanting to do it all myself, maybe finding somebody else that can do it and I get a smaller piece of it or something.
Right.
Because retirement would be awesome. Like I do want that, but I don't want that. So I need to teach myself to be ready to want that.
You kind of, at moments in your life, I know right now is a busy season, but you have found retirement in the business. Like you get out on the boat, you go surfing, you're golfing, like you do a really good job of like living your life while running your businesses.
Yeah, I would say 2017 to 2019 was retirement.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was retired and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do.
Right.
Again, and then after the sale in 2020, it was like that. And then 2021 was such a big opportunity. I was like, got to do one more.
Got to do it.
But I do try to, like we said, 18 months ago was pretty good. So we were golfing all the time, surfing all the time, really living it up. Like UFC things, Spurs games, like everything.
Yeah, it's an interesting dynamic to see like the evolution of human, because you have found so much success with your back against the wall that you kind of crave that.
Yeah.
Because you know that's where you're best or that's where you're strongest. But then when you're in it, you're like, God, this is like an evil mistress. Like, why am I stuck in this again? I've already been here. I've already done that. Like there should be another opportunity or another possibility. And then you lean right back into it once you find the sunshine again. You're like, this is boring.
It's like a weird drug. It's funny. Like as we become more and more aware of it, more and more aware of like the sickness of it. But because it really, and I call it the sickness, but I also speak about it like, in a positive way.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm proud of who I am. I'm proud of who we are as entrepreneurs. I understand like what it is, but it is, we get drawn back into it because that is truly when we're at our best. And I love to, as a wrestler in high school, all these different things. Like I want to be at my best. I love it when I'm at my best and I can look and go, man, I sure performed. I sure succeeded. I had my back against my wall and succeeded. But we can also like, there becomes a point where you can have done well enough that you don't have to have your back against the wall again.
Right.
And the fact that like, every few years when I do it, I'm like, why am I back again? Like I couldn't have bet just a little smaller and not been like this.
So besides the cash flow, because that would be an easy escape for you, where in your life would you say you're most flirting with disaster?
I let a lot of my like health habits slip because of how long the work days got. And it's like forgetting when I rebuilt my business in like 2012, 2013, it was like miracle morning, Hal Elrod stuff, waking up early, all the things we know how to do now, like journal, read, exercise, do the thing, and then really like focus on that before we do anything else. But instead right now I'm caught up a lot in like, no, I got so much to do. I need to dive right into what I have to do. And so I'll work a 10-hour day on like, this is what I need to do today. But if I actually worked out for 2 hours in the morning and then worked an 8-hour day, I would get more done. Yeah. So I've definitely been flirting with not enough like health and mental focus of just the little things like the planning, the journaling. I know when I'm at my best, there's a formula of how I do it. I know when I'm at my best, it's the same thing at night. I'm reflecting on what did I do today? What goals did I get done today? And right now I'm so focused on these are the 12 things I need done today, and I just jump right into it. So I'm skipping on the well-being stuff.
I saw you pondering doing another Ironman. Are you going to do it?
Yeah. I've been pondering a lot over the last couple of weeks. Like, what should I do this year? Right? What do I need to put back on the list? Like when you rode the bull. Yeah. Right? And like you guys just went skydiving too.
Yeah, we went
right?
skydiving in November.
I'm not putting that on my list.
That was
this
lame,
year.
dude. It was not what I thought it would be.
Okay, I'm going to tell myself the reason I'm not going to skydive this year is because Matt said
it's lame.
It was totally lame. Not going to do that.
It was really cool to get in the plane and be like, oh my God, I'm going to jump out of this. And the first moment, the guy who was like my partner or whatever, he didn't tell me he was going to do like a backflip jumping out of the plane. So like the first moment out of the plane, we were just like back falling to the ground, looking up at the sky. And that was like epic. Like if we would have went down that way the whole time, that would have been incredible. But once we flipped over, it was kind of like, this is it. Like it's kind of cold. The wind's pretty loud. Like, yeah, the views are cool because we did it in San Diego, but I'm like, I kind of thought it would be like more life or death than what it was. Yeah. Now, if I had to have jumped out of the plane myself, that may have been a little harder, but you've got a guy strapped to your back and you're going whether you want to go or not. Like you're put your feet down, you're gone. So
yeah, you didn't have to actually make the jump part.
Correct.
I mean, he should have told you that the parachute wasn't working for like 2 or 3 of the minutes.
Well, he did let me steer the parachute. And there was a moment where I was like, okay, that's frightening. Because when I pulled it really hard, he's like, no, not that much. I'm like, okay, but you recognize you have so far to fall and there's so many checks and balances between falling in death that you're like, the chances of me dying are very slim to none. Like me breaking a leg is highly likely, or me getting hurt, yeah, highly likely. But they had all these checks and balances, and we watched them fold the chutes and roll the chutes and check to this and check to that. Now, I will tell you there is a lot of a parachute that is built with rubber bands, and that's a little sketchy to think about. But overall, it was really not what I thought it would be. I was kind of disappointed.
Not as scary.
Not as scary.
When we flew over like the waterfalls in Africa on the Gobundance trip, we were in this like, it's like a lawnmower engine plane. I was terrified for my life the whole time. I was like, this thing's about to fall apart. I'm about to die. Like you're sitting in a seat like this, open air with like a regular seatbelt like this, and the guy in front of you is flying it.
He's probably not even a pilot.
Oh my God. He was not even a pilot. Yeah, yes, absolutely. It's like a hang glider thing. I tell you what, that was one. Yeah, I felt pretty alive when it was over, but they were like, you want to do that again? Never do that again. So if you want to feel like you're about to die, go out to Africa and do one of those. Cause that thing, it was like shaking apart, as we survived that part. Yeah. So goals this year, when I first Ironman that I ever did was, and part of it's too, like, how do I handle when times are tough? It's realizing I need to get my health back in shape. I need to get the focus back in shape, and I need to have some fun hobbies to do. So to get my brain off of the challenges of startup mode, of the workday, of everything else. When I did my first Ironman, because a bunch of Gobundance guys talked me into it years ago, I called that like a keystone goal or a keystone habit. Because that was a goal that by setting it was going to change like 20 other habits. It was going to change my time management. It was going to change how I interacted with my kids, because I knew I was have to work out. If you know you're going to have to work out 3 hours a day, like you have to plan for that every day. You have to make decisions for it. You have to get your other stuff done, like based on what you eat. I stopped smoking cigars. Like there's all these things that you do in order to like accomplish that goal. And so it's thinking back to like, hey, if I really want to get back to when I'm at my best, like throw the Ironman on there. And half the reason of doing an Iron, like I did one 2 years ago for our Real Estate Rockstars Mastermind. I told the story of my GoBundance thing afterward. And I said, so if anyone wants to do an Ironman, let me know. And I had 5 or 6 people come to me and said, let's do it. So we did one in South Carolina. I had COVID when I did that one, but it was like an easy course. But it was still fun. It was still great.
Yeah.
But I think I want to do like a Europe one this year that sets me as like it would force me, like I need to book it. I need to tell everyone, so I'd be amazingly embarrassed if I didn't do it. Right. Because that becomes the accountability. And then that'll make me make decisions on a daily basis to get closer to doing it. So there's one like August, September. So I haven't decided which one. I'm looking at Italy. Never been to Italy, and I'm Italian, and I've never been to Italy, and there's a course that you're actually like running and biking through these super old towns in Italy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But like you said, like having that keystone goal, as you referred to it, forced you to modify your micro habits. Yeah. But you still have a lot of really strong micro habits that you're not giving yourself credit for in this conversation. Like you get up daily, you're really very, very, very hardworking. You get to the office first pretty much every day. Yeah. Like what are the habits that you've developed over time that you think have set you apart from your competition?
What's the funniest thing about my Instagram post with that is I'm like, even though I run the company and I have a bunch of employees, I tell them like, there's no chance they're going to outwork me, right? Yeah. Like I'm going to be there first. I'm going to be there last, because I'm going to ask them to run through walls for me. But I won't ask anybody to do something that I haven't done, because I've done everybody that works for me. I've done their job before. I've done the parts of it. And I posted one. I was like, outwork me, I dare you. And when you raised your hand, you're like, I'll try. Then I was like, no, you don't count. I'm not counting you because you're out there doing, all those things as well. And that's how we've seen your growth over the past few years. But like
most people aren't willing to put in the work. They complain and they bitch about they don't have the results they desire. But then you ask them, what time did you go to bed? Midnight. What time did you wake up? 9 o'clock. Okay, what did you do from 9 to midnight? I watched YouTube, watched Netflix, texted, looked at social media. I went and worked at my 9 to 5 for 8 hours. Yeah. And when I came home, I was exhausted, so I ordered food and watched TV. Oh, okay. Well, can't complain about where you're at then.
You can't complain. Or one of the things when I first read The Miracle Morning was like from Hal's stuff was like, just do one in like 5 minutes tomorrow. Yeah. He's like, just wake up 5 minutes earlier. Yeah. And do the 5-minute Miracle Morning. 1 minute meditation, 1 minute of reading, 1 minute of exercise, like doing and it was like, okay. Mm-hmm. And then it was like, now tomorrow do 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Right. And then it started to be like, oh yeah, it really is about saying, can I form some extra time? The health habits I love. Yes, I love getting up early. I love trying to, first thing I do after coffee is move my body and sweat. You know, and they're luxuries that we get too, but like moving our body and sweating to then get in the sauna afterward. I have a cryotherapy chamber that I try to do almost every day. You know, that's something I'd love to get back to this year where I'm doing that 5-6 days a week. The vitamins that we take when I'm doing like my daily goal checklist, it's like, did I take my vitamins today? Did I drink this much water today? Did I hit 50 golf balls today on the simulator? You know, did I sauna? Did I sweat? Did I do the extra break in the afternoon? Did I journal? So there's like this list of like daily habits that really become, you realize that so many of these things. So one of them is like hug my kids for 15 seconds. So I've got a 15-second hug. Did I hug each of my kids for 15 seconds? Okay. How hard is that to do? It's not. It takes 1 minute of time a day.
And it's free.
And there's a huge outcome for them and a huge outcome for me. But sadly, if I don't have it on my chart list and I don't like look at it, I won't find the 1 minute of time to do it. Mm-hmm. And now they'll like laugh at me and make fun of me for it. And sometimes they're like, "Oh God, Dad's giving us the hug again." But if I don't give them the 15-second hug, they're going to be like, "What's wrong with Dad?"
Yeah, and there will be a moment in time when they have children where they go to you and say, "Dad, I started doing the 15-second hug."
Yeah.
And you're like, "What are you talking about?" Like, "Well, I remember when you gave us the 15-second hugs and we dreaded it, but secretly we loved it. And I'm doing that with my kids." And I'll probably just, then your life is complete.
Yeah.
That's really what you're working for.
Yeah, that's like the legacy. So when you're talking about like goals and things, like what are the habits that we do? Most of it is just like being consistent, because most of the things that we need to do really only take us a minute or two. And if we do them daily, consistently, it compounds into something really special.
Totally.
You know, taking the vitamin every day, drinking the water every day, you know, the 15-minute hug, whatever it is, whatever you want to be good at. When you break it up and I need to do this thing every day. Most of the tasks, other than like the 1 hour workout, most of the other things on a daily goal list really take a couple minutes. Mm-hmm. So we write it down, we do it, and then it, consistency compounds.
Yeah, it compounds over time. And then the results are exponential because, you stack that 1% better every day.
What's your favorite thing you're doing now?
Man, I really love the sauna and the cold plunge. Like I'm really obsessed with that for sure. I love the ranch, having the kids out at the ranch, checking the eggs. I would like to move out here at some point, trying to get the neighbor to sell us some land. What I'm most focused on over the next 30 days is really journaling. I'm trying to spend more time writing. I took over the writing of my newsletter. Like every entrepreneur ever, I try to outsource everything. And I didn't understand how much I actually do enjoy to write. So I'm trying to create more time in my schedule to actually be more present with my thoughts and jot things down and hold myself accountable to how I'm showing up as a human, using my words rather than using the mirror, rather than using the judgment of others.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting.
It's funny. I tried to outsource social media a million times in my life and it just can't be done. Mm-mm. It can't be done and have the same impact.
No, you can outsource like the posting or the editing or like the clip cutting of it, but the communication of it.
Yeah. I'll have them like make the clips, do the things. We get the fancy ones that all the fancy people do. Spend money on it, posting, consistent, all the things. And I'll get an idea in my car and I'll do one of my 15-second Tesla talks and post that right after I had the thought. And they'll blow up. Mm-hmm. And the ones that are like the professional cuts and the everything. So like I can see that as like, yeah, outsourcing a newsletter would be hard.
Yeah.
Outsourcing anything that's supposed to be coming from our voice.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's different. It's different if it's you sitting down and actually having thoughts or sharing in your Tesla talks. It's just different. It shows up differently. It's not framed. It's not canned. It's just you.
Yeah. My hair color's changed. My beard length changes.
What's the new hair color?
Now I'm back to my boring one, but
I like the blonde.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to blonde in a couple weeks. I had to go dark during Christmas time and Thanksgiving because my youngest daughter hates it when I'm blonde.
Why?
She says, "Daddy, you look way too old."
Really?
When you do that, yeah. So
I thought you looked younger.
I do too, Matt. Thank you, thank you for that vote. It's my most favorite thing. So I'll go back to. It's about that season to go back to bright platinum because then I can throw extra colors in it. And
it was fun.
Act like I'm younger than I am.
That's fun, man. It's just hair.
It's just hair.
I started cutting my own hair recently, which I've recognized I got to fix up the back a little bit here. But I got so sick of trying to find time to go get my hair cut and then having an appointment and then sitting and waiting for 10 minutes while they finish up the other appointment, which they snuck in. And then having this random small talk conversation with some stylist I'll never see again in my life. And then getting home and being like, I don't really like it anyway. So taking a scissors and fixing it myself. And I was like, one morning I woke up, my wife was down in the gym working out. The kids were sleeping. I'm like, I'm going to cut my hair. So I like got the old clippers, and like the scissors is like a school scissors from 5th grade. I definitely need to upgrade my equipment, but I started cutting my own hair, and it's just fun. It's just like platinum hair is fun. It's just fun, different.
I did my own hair for probably 2 years when COVID hit.
See?
And it was easier. It got to the point where it's like, this is way easier and way quicker. Like I can do it whenever I want instead of forgetting to make an appointment and all this stuff.
Yeah, the cleanup sucks though.
Yeah.
I mean, and I actually cut my son's hair this weekend. He needed a haircut. And my wife's like, "Oh, he's taking me to a haircut." I'm like, "I can do the haircut."
I cut Brax's this morning.
It's easy.
Yeah. So Brax doesn't go get his hair cut at all. I can do his hair.
He doesn't care. Bodie doesn't care. Well, look, man, if people want to learn more about your story, more about what you're up to, where can they find you? I've learned so much from you. I have immense respect for who you are as a human, how you show up every day. I look up to you. I'm honored to be in business with you. And so others listening to this want to follow you on your journey, want to tap into the Tesla talks or what you're doing with the modular housing. How can they find you?
Yeah. Before that, I just need to say this is pretty surreal because you and I met a long time ago.
Yeah.
Right. 9 years, 8 or 9 years. Like
9 years.
You had just kind of become an assistant of an assistant or volunteer at one of our events.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I loved seeing your drive then, and was glad every time I'd come out to Austin, and we started to like grow this friendship and see you growing. And then every time I see you leading our Gobundance crew now, I can't think of anybody like more qualified or who's earned it more.
Thanks, man.
Like you're the story that I give anybody when they say, "Hey, like why should I come work for you?" I play the old videos of like when you and David were on stage and go like, "This is the ideal. Like this is the right person. This is the right person that if he does the right thing can have the big opportunity." And it might take 5 or 10 years to get that big opportunity, but I've got to see you go from like a sponge just saying yes to whatever to being the guy that can lead the room and make the decisions and like you're our attorney, you're our leader, you're all these different roles that you have that nobody really gets to see. And most of the people you interview probably don't get to know you like I know you. Yeah. So I sincerely appreciate getting to come out here and chat with you and have you be like our CEO of Gobundance and the growth and how inspirational you are to everybody else. So for people, if they want to see the rest of my stuff, Instagram is my favorite place to hang out. I run the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. So that's focused on real estate agents. So you can come listen to me on that podcast. Instagram's where I put most of my content, where I interact with people. If they go find me on there, I'm going to chat with them. I'm not sure when this will air. Maybe our Rockstars Mastermind will be over by the time it's there. And then, but I go to a big part of Gobundance and stuff too. So I'm at the Gobundance events. If people want to meet me there and come talk to me online.
And they can follow the modular housing journey on your Instagram.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be fascinating.
That's going to be fascinating. So my Instagram, it's really easy to find. So it's Aaron Amuchastegui.
You say it's easy, but the last name is not easy.
The last name's hard, but the unique thing about me now, if you just type in Aaron, so it's Aaron. If you type Aaron A, there's like a 95% chance it's going to autofill my name. So whatever that's worth. I mean, I'm the coolest Aaron A out there. Or if you start to get the last name, so it's at Aaron Amuchastegui, AARONAM. You won't have to go further than that, and you'll find me for sure. So super happy to be on here, and I'd love to meet anybody that listens to this.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate you.